Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to Chris's Ink Pens for June 2024. And I'm super excited. There's a lot of really fun stuff happening here for June. And we'll just jump right in. I'll tell you about the pens. I am going to be working with 3 new pens, 3 new inks. One was a bottle and 2 samples. And I ended up somehow with 4 blue inks, if you count the teal one. So that was fun and interesting too, because normally I go hog wild with the purples and pinks, but I was called to the blue inks, that's all. So that's what it'll be. And we'll write in my Tomoe River paper bond travel gear notebook there. I'll do a writing sample with each one like usual. And then we'll go to the library and kind of just, talk about it some more, I guess. So first up is new to me pen, new pen. Thank you very much for everybody who watches my videos, because I took my ad money and spent it all in one place at Goldspot and got this Benu Euphoria in the Pink Champagne. And I got a bottle of ink, and I'll show you what that is when we get down to the ink journal. I got a broad nib on this, and I'm really super pleased with the pen. It's beautiful, and it was quite a debate, but we'll talk about that later, about getting it, because I was not on a no buy, but on a very low buy, very slow and deliberate and careful because of reasons. So this is the first pen, and then that got me into getting this pen out again. This is well, at the time they were still calling them narwhal. They have a new name now, and I've written it down, but I still don't know how to pronounce the new name. So, and this is the original plus, in it's gold ocellatus. I really don't know how to say that. It's a piston filler, and it's got the broad nib. Now, when I tried this before, I tried the double broad nib unit that came in it, and it was dry. It wrote dry, but oh, it's a different experience with this other nib unit that came with it. This was a gift from a pen friend, and I've got an old favorite ink in it, and it's, oh my goodness, wait till you see. It's really something. Oh, the reason I got this out, one of the reasons was because Goldspot also had a rainbow beautiful pen in this model, and I thought, well, I'm going to revisit that because, it's a beautiful pen and everything, but I wondered about the nibs, whether I just needed to work on them. But when I held this broad unit, nib unit up to the light, I could see a little slit of light, and I couldn't see any with the double broad. So it could just be that other nib needs, opening up, tuning, which, to be honest, I'm spending a lot more time doing that kind of stuff this year than I was last year, because, I was too busy buying pens, I guess, last year. So anyway, it's fun, and it's writing good. So next up is the TWSBI VAC 700R in Iris. This was also a pen friend gift back when it came out in a broad nib. And so I wanted to kind of, play around and compare. I don't always pick up the VAC fillers. I have 3, but I think they make me nervous, but I don't think there's any reason for that. I think I need to, just slow down and get used to the filling process and not worry so much about something going wrong with them, because so far so good. But anyway, next up is another new to me pen, because I have one of these Moonman Q1s in a fine nib, and this is an extra fine nib, and it was sent by a pen friend and viewer. So I wanted to try it. I was a little bit reluctant to try an extra fine nib, but wait till you see. So it was quite a surprise for me, learning all kinds of things right now. So next up is a pen that was kind of left over from the student pen project, and I hadn't tried it yet, and it is a Schneider Coed with, I think it's a medium nib. It may not even say. It doesn't say, but, oh yes, it does on the package though. It says medium nib. It came with this unusual little thing. I guess it's an eraser, and it came with a package of cartridges. Anyway, this was an interesting pen I wanted to try. Now, I have to say that when I compare it to these TWSBIs and the Benu and the Narwhal and some of these other pens, the pen body itself doesn't have as much to recommend it, but it's got a really comfortable grip and it's got a smooth nib. So, you know, we all are looking for pens sometimes to take with us and not worry about as much, and that would definitely qualify as one. So next up is the All-Star Lamy All-Star, and I think this is the Ocean Blue. I was mixing up two colorways during my inventory and everything else, and I do have a 1.5 nib on this because of the ink. I wanted to try in it. So there's this. It's definitely a blue month for me, I think. Blue and pink. And then next up, this came about because of the inventory that I did recently. Well, inventory, you know, pen collection video and so forth. This is the Heinz Custom Blue Storm, and it has right now a broad Opus 88 nib unit in it. And I just really wanted to try it and not let it stop me because of the rolling issue. I've got roll stop type things, and I've got this. Well, let me show you this that I put the ink samples on. I can just lay the pen on this tray when I am working. You know, there's always solutions, and I just hadn't really thought that through. So, but I kind of miss writing with the pen. It's so beautiful, and I wondered how this Opus nib unit would work. So, okay, then last but not least is Jinhao 159, the original, you know, the heavy metal one, and I've got a Knox broad nib that was sent by a pen friend, and wow, okay, that's all I'm going to say now. We'll wait till we do the writing, but just really a fun experience. And I wondered in revisiting this after writing with the X159 and also the Jinhao 9019 whether this would even appeal to me anymore, but it still does. So I mean, I like it. I like the heaviness actually of it, and I like those lighter weight pens too. So I guess I don't beat that many pens that I don't like. But okay, so I've got all the ink tiles here, and we will adjourn to the ink journal, and it is my Bond Travel Gear old stock 68 GSM Tomoe River paper journal in the A5 hardcover with a dot grid. So we'll get right in there. Okay, so the first up is this Benu Euphoria Pink Champagne with a broad nib, and the ink that I chose is also the ink that I purchased at the time with the pen. I did end up with a discount code, so that was cool. And this is the J Herbin 1670 Fuchsia de Magellan. It's really pretty. And when we get along a little further, I will do a little ink panel and show you that I have a lot of comparables. It has gold shimmer though, but I mean base color wise I have quite a few pinks that really kind of look like it, and it's no wonder I was attracted to the ink. So here we go. So this, like I said, has a broad nib, a Schmidt nib in it. Let's see, making sure you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Oh wow, what's going on? I write it dry. I wrote it dry. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this in. That was like a panic, like, huh? I just said this. These are so reliable. I love them so much. I have to go fill this pen. That is classic. Okay, back in business. Sorry for that horrified and very awkward silence and sort of like stunned whatever before, but I was shocked because I've never had any trouble with any of my Benu pens, but you do have to put ink in them in order to keep them writing. So apparently I got really carried away with this over the weekend. I started using it even before June, so I mean, yeah, I just might as well confess. Okay, so we've got Benu Euphoria. This Benu, I'm going to have to really watch myself. They have a lot of pens that appeal to me. And yeah, I'm going to have to really buckle down. Okay, Pink Champagne. And it's a broad nib with J Herbin 1670 Fuchsia I don't like to spell that word. I don't do it well. De Magellan. I probably make mistakes even as we go. Okay. And it is super flowy and it writes when you keep ink in it. Isn't that nice? Okay. And I'm crazy about it. It didn't seem to distract me so much that I couldn't write letters with it though, because I was catching up over Memorial Day weekend and I started using it, you know. So here we are with that, and I love it. But it's interesting how much I love some of these other pens too. It's not just the new pen. Here we have our revisit to the Narwhal Original Plus. And this time I switched the double broad for the broad nib unit. I'm going to revisit that other nib too, because to be fair, I was using an ink that might have been a little bit dry, but not so much dry in other circumstances. So I think maybe the nib just needs opening up. So that's exciting to me, because I thought, well, I won't be interested in the brand if their nibs are too dry. But anyway, this one is not. So I put in it a Sailor Grenade, which is one of my it's Sailor Gentle Grenade. And I love it. And it just has quite stunned me in its smoothness. It's buttery smooth. Let's see, this has got quite a bit of a Narwhal Original Plus with a broad nib. It was pen friend AW, thank you very much. And this was Sailor Gentle Grenade. I really love this. It's in fact, I almost went back and did another pump to fill it more. But I really am eager to get that other nib back on there and see whether it was just me or what could, because the double broad would be fun too. So I didn't yet, but that's quite a bit. It's about a half a fill. And that was what I got on the first attempt there. And like I said, I'm so new to vac fillers. I almost said vacuum. Okay, so next up, just because there I was with the Narwhal, I thought, well, I'll compare it to the TWSBI. Why not? And this is the TWSBI VAC 700R in Iris, and I did go back and get an extra fill in this one because, well, I knew I wanted to write that much with the purple for one thing, and I've written this dry before with a purple ink, so TWSBI Royal Purple is one of my very favorites. And again, this is a really juicy broad nib too. So this is TWSBI. I had another thought that I don't want to forget, but hopefully I won't. TWSBI VAC 700R Iris broad nib and TWSBI Royal Purple. You can see where I'm going with some of these. I'm going to definitely have, for journaling and letter writing, a lot of broad nibs going. But I think my original thought, which I've kind of toned myself down and changed gears now, but my thought was, I was thinking about that rainbow pen, the Narwhal, or let's see, I guess this is their new name if I've spelled it right, and I'm not sure I have because that looks wrong. I'm going to have to look that up again. So it's like they renamed to something else, and I don't know how to say it. Okay. So it comes with a rainbow nib, like the TWSBI nib, So if I didn't like the nib on that, I kept thinking, well, let's just say if I were to get that beautiful pen, which is probably not in the cards because I've just spent all my channel money. But if I wanted to change the nib, I could on that pen, but then it wouldn't be a rainbow nib. So I have to count on the nib being, and that was my line of thought, sort of. And then I got completely out of that because what I realized is there's a beautiful pen every day. There's probably dozens of new beautiful pens every day. So just can't have everything, not everything. So, but I thought it was an interesting thought process anyway, was that like on one like this, well, you probably would be looking for the gold colored nib or a silver and gold so it would match the trim, but you wouldn't worry so much. But if it was a rainbow nib, it's got to be all right, right from the bat. So I don't know what other people's experiences have been. Okay, so next up, is the Q1, Moonman Q1 eyedropper pen with Diamine Oxford Blue, which I thought would be really good for this little, well, big pocket pen because it's a good color and it's an ink dark enough and I rely on it. I know it's good. So my first thing was it is not scratchy, which I was just excited about. I mean, that's an extra fine nib. And like I said, this was sent to me by a viewer and pen friend as well. So this is Moonman. I'm going to enjoy this. I'll probably have this inked up a long time because when I filled this with it was Monteverde Purple Rain, I had it filled up for a long, long time. It's super reliable pen. I already know that. Q1, extra fine, clear. I guess we can see that. With Diamine Oxford Blue. One of my absolute favorite. In fact, that's a brand favorite. Like if I had to choose just one, I chose this color from Diamine. So it says quite a bit because I've tried so many of their inks. But it's just a really nice blue-black. Okay, so I believe that's going to be around in service for a long time with that. That's a lot of ink. It's about 3 mil. So next up is the little Schneider Coed with a medium nib. And I did put in Graf von Faber-Castell Stone Gray. I thought this would be a really good choice for this pen. It does kind of come out a little black at first, but I think when it dries, you know, you see it differently. Let's see if this posts good. Oh yeah, that posts real secure and it's super lightweight. So it's Schneider, Schneider, Coed. They're listing it all as like one word, Coed. Classic is also part of the name, and it's a medium nib. And this is the black, it's in black. And we've got Graf von Faber-Castell, I'm just cutting corners, Stone Gray. My favorite gray ink. Try that again. Yeah, okay, so it's, you know, it's juicy enough for a medium nib, and it's smooth. It's really smooth. So that's going to be fun. And of course, I'll be coming back mid-month with a progress report. It'll really have the dirt on these pens, or the dirt and the greatness. Gee whiz. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Okay, next up is a new to me ink. Let's see. I'm probably messing up on that too. Yeah, so the first new to me ink was the in the Pink Champagne, the J Herbin ink, and then these next two blue inks are new to me. Came in as samples. This is the Pelikan Edelstein Golden Lapis, and this was a sample from Pen Friend CS, and I decided that I wanted to see it in a Lamy 1.5. So that's what I have it in. Let's see, I should be kind of agitating the converter a little bit to get it, to make sure, let's see, because sometimes, quite often, the gold shimmer will kind of sit in there, and I forget. If I remember to do that, experience is much better. So, and this is just, you know, you get that nice thin horizontal, and then you get the just stunning vertical line. So okay, ooh, and I can already see that shimmer. So this is Lamy All-Star. I can get away with this because my handwriting is really big. This nib is kind of big, and I think this is Ocean Blue, unless I've mangled again. I hope not. And it is Pelikan Edelstein. Oh, did I write this one dry too? I don't think so. What do we got going on there? Let's see. No, there's definitely ink. Haha. Well, this might not be as easy a fix. Let me see. Oh, we have cloggage, I'm afraid. Okay, let's see. And a quick fix would just be trying to feed a little, you know, force feed. Make sure we don't make a huge mess. Oh, that's a shame, because that had been writing really good. So it could be that there's just a lot of shimmer in there. I'm gonna leave this in too, because you know this is the kind of things we need to know, right? So that's test is over. Uh-oh, may have to change nibs, may have to change pens. I'm not sure yet, but I'll let you know in the progress report. This is a gorgeous ink. So I'm determined to find something that'll work with it. It had actually worked until now, so I'm surprised I got all that way though before. You know, like it hasn't really been neglected either. So, but we'll work on that. That's part of the fun, I guess. Okay, next up is the Heinz Custom Blue Storm. I won this in Larry's Fountain Pens giveaway several years ago, and it's just it's the most stunning, you know, acrylic finish that or whatever. It's stunning anyway. It's probably, yeah, I mean, there are other pens that I say are super beautiful, but this is just really unique in my collection. And I put Pure Pens Coronation Blue. This came from pen friend MH, all the way from Germany. So, whoops, okay. Here we go. And it's just gorgeous. It's a dark blue and it's so pretty. Heinz Custom Blue Storm with a broad opus nib. That's just for my reference to know what I was writing with. You know, the particular nib unit. With Pure Pens Coronation Blue. Okay. X. I'm sure that's going to go right off the charts. Yeah, that's really, really pretty. That's even, well, of course, broad nib. It's darker than the Oxford blue. It's pretty. All right. So last but not least is the Jinhao 159. I always want to now say X but it's not. The X is the lighter pen body. This is the metal pen body in rose gold with a silver trim, and the Knox broad nib. Whew, it's a beautiful nib. Okay. Gorgeous. One of my favorite inks, Colorverse Gravity Wave. So Jinhao. That's how I like a pen to flow too, nice and wet. 159 broad Knox nib. Oh, that nib is just, I'm afraid it's going to move around a lot because I love it so much. But with this particular, you know, I have so many of these pen bodies, I can use whatever color I want and just remove this part, you know, keep switching it. That's a little trick I've been doing lately. Doesn't bother me that it's because it's a two-tone nib anyway, so it's fine with this finish. Okay, so Colorverse Gravity Wave. Did letters come in?
One, please.
Oh. Okay, I'm not caught up anymore. No. I was going to tell you all about that when we get to the library. Okay, so Colorverse Gravity Wave in this beautiful Jinhao with a nice juicy broad Knox nib. Whew. Okay, now I think next, before I forget, let's compare those pink ink tiles with the new to me J Herbin 1670 Fuchsia de Magellan. I thought that would be a fun thing to do before we head over to the library. Okay, so I don't have other shimmer inks in pink that really compare, and this is our main ink that we're comparing everything with. This does have the gold shimmer in it, but I was looking more to see, you know, how it compares to some of the other inks that I like Pilot Iroshizuku Azalea, and it's close. I believe this is a little darker of a base, but if you added sparkle into this, like say you did it yourself, that would be a really nice, you know, comparison. And I thought Diplomat Orchid also looked, it's a nice comparison at least. The Lights on series kind of leans a little redder but it's pretty, and it didn't fit, so I kind of put it down at the bottom. I suppose I could have. And then I was looking at Dominant Industry Royal Azalea, and that's really pretty too. I just wanted to show you where it fits in. Like, here's Diamine Hope Pink. So obviously that's a brighter, more traditional pink, you know, neon pink kind of. But there's a lot of really good comparisons. I liked the comparison in terms of the base of it with the Lavender Pinkly, which is one of my favorite inks. But again, it's not the same, definitely. So I just did this for fun. I thought it might be nice to do that comparison. And now we'll head over to the library and just talk face to face for a little bit. There, I'm in the library. So obviously it was such a big excitement to get this pen, and such fun. But, you know, you sit down to write and it's what comes out of the nib, you know, that's what's important. And I'm learning that it is also really, really fun when the pen is so beautiful that you just enjoy the experience that much more. So, you know, I'd like to trade in a few of my other pens for, for a couple more of these, but I'm going to go real slow. And also, I can choose at least one pen for Christmas, and I think it'll be one from this. Actually, the Euphoria is moving up, you know, just since I just chose the Talisman as my favorite model. I was, I think, trying to be practical at that time, but I hadn't really, you know, thought it through completely, because in terms of a lot more items now, I'm thinking that when I do my next top 5, for instance, later this year, I think this pen, this model at least, is going to be rising to the top. But that's a lot of thinking out loud. Anyway, I'm going to put it in its little rickshaw sleeve. Well, you know, it's one that I have already, so that it won't get hurt. Because I've made a lot of mistakes this morning. I mean, I didn't know it was out of ink, and I've got a little bit of a glitch with the microphone, so I'm hoping that I won't have to completely redo this, because I like the initial enthusiasm. I don't like to have to redo, then not remember what I've already talked about and that kind of thing. So I had that wonderful success over the long Memorial Day weekend of catching up on my pen pal letters, which is a very temporary thing, and it's very rare to have happen. It usually happens when there's like 2 days without mail. And that happens when there's a Sunday and a holiday. So it was like, ooh, am I going to make it? You know, on, I think it was Sunday, I had 3 left to write. And I did, because there was no mail Sunday and there was no mail Monday. So, and that makes me happy, because I don't like to be so tardy, but a lot of times I'm juggling different things, and I end up, you know, letting the letter writing go for a couple of weeks. And when I start seeing a month gap, I get worried. It's like, oh no, they're going to think I forgot about them. So then I did jot down to talk about feelings around buying the pen. So that it was quite a a thing in terms of, first off, I was surprised. I hadn't looked at what the ad revenue was. I normally check in with it quite a bit, because I'm all eager, you know, how much is it going to be? And it took 2 months. So that was March and April paid in May, that paid for the Euphoria and the bottle of ink. So, you know, it took 2 months in that case. But then, you know, I had been working and busy and producing a bunch of videos. So I met the $100 threshold right away for May. So that, you know, next month there'll be pen money, which is like really doesn't happen very often at all. And I know that's you know, maybe silly, maybe doesn't relate too much, but it definitely made a difference in my decision, because I was like, oh, I'm doing so good already in June. I mean, in May for June. See, everything is delayed. So anyway, for better or worse, I'm happy with it. I don't have any regrets, but I noticed this, that it triggered me looking at a lot of other new pens too. And that's how it happens, that we end up with more than we need. So I am really looking at, you know, myself. I'm looking at how that happens. And with the other one that I referenced, the Narwhal or Novular or whatever, the rainbow one, I really didn't know. I really was thinking about nibs and wondering, you know, how that would even work out. Should I choose that one instead? Or, you know, because the price point on those is just so fantastic. But I'm eager to hear from other people who have experience with the nibs to see, you know, if there's consistency, and if maybe the double broad nib that I got just needs to slightly be opened up, or even the change in ink, which makes me feel kind of ashamed of myself that I hadn't just inked that with something else. You know, maybe I don't like to clean the vac fillers. That might be part of it. Maybe it's sort of like, oh, I'm going to break it, because I feel like, oh, I'm going through all this to clean it. I'm doing what I see in the video to clean it. It's not like I'm doing it the wrong way, I don't think, but I always feel as if something went wrong with the inner guts with those pens, because like I said, there's a total of 3 vac fillers that I have, then I'd be out a pen because I wouldn't know what to do, and I don't really, I don't relish the thought of having to send a pen off to be repaired either, but you know, the learning part and the experimenting is what's so much fun. So, for other, like, off topic maybe, we've been sort of holding our breath with all the wild weather and really noticing what's going on to the north of us, and I hope everybody's staying safe, because it's just looked like a wild circus of a spring, and the weather's been crazy with tornadoes. It's just devastating and shocking when we look at it. And of course, all this time we've been preparing for hurricane season. We do extra prep and, you know, extra water, extra everything in our supply shelves, and checking to make sure we have everything that we would need if we had to shelter in place or evacuate. So we're, you know, storms and that kind of thing is always on our mind in some level, because from like June through to November, we're thinking about it. So I don't really have a lot of other off topic. Coco's doing really good on his diet, and he likes the food. So things are, you know, we're able to get through, and we'll just have to see. He's come down just a little bit in his weight, which is good, going in the right direction, and his energy level's way up. So I think I like seeing that. That really makes me excited for him. And we'll just go from there. But I look forward to writing with all these pens. Like I said, I'm sorry about all that goof with the beautiful pen right off the start being empty. I had no idea it was empty. It shocked me, and I was like, I was actually, well, just shocked, almost speechless. But I was really relieved when I saw it was just a completely empty converter. So, live and learn. Maybe check it first. I just had no idea I'd written that much with it, but I should have probably known. I went into my journal with it. I wrote, you know, 1 page and maybe 5 letters with it already. It's like I was rushing the gates. So I think that's it for this video. I was trying to think. I don't really have anything new to say about books right at the moment, because I returned that library book, and I've just continued to practice some of those blood sugar leveling techniques, and it seems, okay, the one main thing I can say for sure is that my energy level's been way up, like, and I've had steady energy, so I think something's working really good. So that's all I'll say on that for now, because I want to do more research, and you know, and I in the future, I do want to talk more about books, because I've got a lot of books that I'm reading and a lot of thoughts about them. So I will see you on the next video, and in the comments, because there's a lot of interesting little things about nibs and vac fillers and everything that we could discuss. And I look forward to seeing you in the comments. Do you have a comfort level with vac fillers? It seems like everybody does, except for me. Like, I feel like maybe I'm just not familiar enough with them, or worried I'm going to do something to the pen. And it's probably totally unjustified little fears and stuff. So I'm eager to find out about that. So I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Stay safe.